From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now, let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
Hi, welcome into Northeast Current on the ION Network. My name is Holly Golembeski. Good morning, and today we're here with local author Amy Gale. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So excited to have you because your Blissful Tragedy just came out in February. So before we talk about Blissful Tragedy, let's talk about you. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Dupont, Pennsylvania, in the middle of Wilkes-Barre and Scranton, and lived there all my life. Family's been there forever, and now I live in Suskin, which is Pittston Township, Pennsylvania, about 5 minutes up the road from where I grew up.
That's right. And where did you go to school?
I went to Pittston Area High School and Wilkes University for my Doctor of Pharmacy degree.
Well, that's something Amy and I have in common. I've actually known Amy for a very long time because I'm a Dupont person as well. And if you're a Dupont person, it seems like everybody in Dupont knows everybody.
Definitely.
So you went to Wilkes University, and what is your full-time job?
I'm a pharmacist at our local Walmart. That's my full-time job.
And when did you decide you wanted to write a book?
I started a small book club with two of my friends, Rachel and Sharon. And we started reading books. We loved the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy. And then we liked the new adult genre. That's what they call that. It's basically when you're right out of college, but before you really start life in the real world. So when you're really growing up from your teenage years into adulthood. And we loved that genre, and there weren't a lot of books in it. So after we read as many as we could, we ran out of them. So I said, well, you know what I'll do? I'll make something up for us just for fun. And that's how Blissful Tragedy was born.
Wow. Now, growing up, creative writing courses in school, high school, even writing in college, did you always have a knack to write?
I always loved to write. In college, I was published in U.S. Pharmacist Journal with a small article, but believe me, it's nothing that you would read for pleasure.
Well, what's it about?
It was about the loading doses of Coumadin.
Oh, okay.
Yes, very exciting
stuff. The blood thinner Coumadin.
Yes.
So this is a little bit different.
So this is a little bit different. So I always loved to write. Always.
What were your favorite subjects when you were growing up in school?
I'm a science geek. I loved science and math.
And what do you do now in your free time? Because I know with working and you're writing another book, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit, what do you do in your free time?
In my free time, other than working and writing, which I really enjoy, I also like to bake.
What do you bake?
I bake cakes and I decorate them. I like to do elaborate cakes, and I also like to bake cookies.
What's your favorite kind?
Italian pepper cookies.
Oh, they're good. And the anise ones are good too.
Yes.
And you're married?
I'm married a little bit over 9 years.
Wow. That's a long time. Well, Blissful Tragedy, let's talk about Blissful Tragedy. We were talking a little bit before the show started, and your intention when you started to write wasn't to publish. Is that right?
It was just for fun. Like I said, we ran out of books to read in our little book club, and I just came up with something just off the top of my head for fun. It took me about 4 months to write the first draft, and we just read the first draft for fun.
What inspired you to write what you wrote?
Well, I never wanted Prince Charming. I always wanted the hot rocker. That was my fantasy.
Is your husband the hot rocker?
My husband could be the hot rocker. But he only sings in the shower.
Oh, okay. Well, what exactly inspired you to write the story and the plot and the book?
I always wondered what it would be like to date a guy in a band. Like I said, child of the late 80s, early 90s when music was so big. And rock stars were the gods that you really everybody wanted. So I always wondered, what would it be like to be with one of them? Would it be perfect bliss, or would there be some tragedy? And that's how I came up with the title, because nothing is perfect.
Right.
Everything takes work, but love is always worth it.
Now the band and we'll talk about the subject line and the plot in just a little bit, but the band that's part of this book that one of your main characters is a member of, is that band based on a band that you liked growing up?
The band isn't really based on anything. I basically Googled names that weren't taken because I wanted something that wasn't taken. And I always liked rock music, so I wanted to do like something a little rock with a little metal edge. My favorite singer is Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, so I kind of loosely based my singer's voice off Robert Plant's.
The experiences that you wrote about in the book, were they based on your life experiences?
Not for lack of trying. No, a couple things were based on my life experiences. I've never met a rock star, so none of that ever happened. But little things like, you'll know in the book that Lexi, my main character, her sister is getting married. And one of the things that did reflect my life is when the bride and groom were walking into the room, the Star Wars theme played. Well, that played at my wedding too.
Oh,
so
gosh.
little things like that, but none of the major plot lines ever happened to me.
Now, who is your favorite rocker? The Led Zeppelin?
Led Zeppelin is my favorite band, my
Okay.
favorite rock band, and Robert Plant is their singer. So, and I love his voice. I think he's got a great rock voice. So that's who I loosely based Van Sinclair, my hero of this book's voice, upon.
If you were to give us a brief synopsis or a summary of the book for somebody that might not have heard of Blissful Tragedy, how would you describe the plot line and the summary of the book?
It's about a girl who just graduates college and finds out her boyfriend all through college cheats on her. So now she's done with men. So as a graduation present, her sister gets her tickets and backstage passes to an up-and-coming band that she really likes. And the singer's really hot, so she's pretty excited. And she's got really great seats. So she meets the band backstage, and she's still a little bitter from the boyfriend cheating on her, so she embarrasses herself a little in front of the lead singer, but he's intrigued by her. So then they start talking, and things go from there, and she ends up going on tour with the band because she has one last summer off before starting her job at an advertising company.
And what happens when she gets in well, he contacts her, right? Because he gets her number secretively?
Secretively, yep.
And what happens when he contacts her?
She's, of course, shocked when he contacts her, because who thinks that a rocker is going to ever talk to you again?
Right.
Especially after, you know, not all that much memorable happened. And she's shocked but really excited. So she puts aside a little bit of the anguish that she's feeling from the cheating, because, of course, you're still not going to put yourself out there yet. And she decides, she needs a little bit of fun. So she's going to go for it, because not like anything's going to come out of it anyway. But little does she know, more comes out of it than she thinks.
I was going to ask you what the tragedy part of the book is, but I think that maybe it's not the best question because you have to read it to get the tragic part of the book.
You have to read it, but all romance novels have a happy ending. So that's one thing you know. When you're going to get a romance novel, you're getting a happy ending.
Now, the band that's in the book, are they the same caliber? What's the name of the band?
The name of the band in the book is called Devil's Garden.
Okay, and is that like a caliber of Poison or Led Zeppelin? Are they very popular, nationwide, international?
They're up and coming.
Okay.
So they're on their way to fame.
Okay.
Up and coming. They're starting to sell out like small 2,000-seat arenas and things like that. So they're not up at the rock god status yet, but they're on their way.
Now, if you were to pick actors and actresses to play the main characters in your book, who would you want?
Well, I always liked the show Friday Night Lights, the TV show. And I loved Tim Riggins, who Taylor Kitsch plays him. And I think he would be perfect. He would look just like Van Sinclair.
Look the part?
He would be perfect for my rocker. And as for my heroine, I kind of loosely based her off of me. Not that I would ever do any acting or anything like that. But another Friday Night Lights actress that was in the Friday Night Lights is Minka Kelly, and she would be great for that as well.
Well, when you were creating the cover, and we'll talk about exactly how you go about the process of getting a book published, which isn't an easy thing. People think it might be easy. It's not.
It's not.
How did you go about picking the people that are on the front that represent your main characters, and who are they?
The people on the front are random models that I don't know. What happens is the publishing company actually takes care of the cover. They give you a questionnaire, and you fill out the questionnaire, and based on what you fill out, a cover artist, Viola Estrella was my cover artist, makes the cover for you. And then they give you a couple proofs that you can pick from. She was actually nice enough to give me a database to search, and I was able to pick out the models from the database that I thought most represented my characters in the book. So I actually picked out the models, and then they use whatever digital techniques. I'm not really big into graphic design, or however they do it that way to form the cover.
Well, if you had to do the cover yourself, do you think it would have came out like that? Like, is that what you had in your mind when you envisioned?
It's very close to what I had in my mind. Obviously, you could never create people that don't exist,
right,
but that's extremely close.
Well, Blissful Tragedy is on sale. We'll tell you where you can get it, and we're going to talk more with Amy Gale when we come back. Thanks for watching the ION Network. Good morning. My name is Holly Golembeski. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ben Affleck. The only thing better than playing a hero in the movies is being a hero in real life. Like the 50,000 veterans who returned from Iraq and Afghanistan with devastating injuries. They are true heroes, and they're why I'm proud to support Paralyzed Veterans of America. For more than 60 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has made a promise to never leave a fallen comrade behind. They make sure veterans with spinal cord injuries get the quality medical care, rehabilitation, and housing they need when they come home. They stay with our fallen heroes for the long term, offering counseling, job training, and support to help them regain the freedom and independence they fought so hard for, all at no cost to them. Our veterans fought for us. Let's fight for them. To learn more about how you can help, visit pva.org. That's pva.org. We will never leave a fallen comrade behind.
When you live a busy life like I do, every moment counts. When I was diagnosed with asthma, I was afraid my career might skip a beat. Nearly 25 million Americans suffer from asthma. We're not alone.
Great session, Kristen.
Thank you. That's why I count on my rescue inhaler with a dose counter. It keeps track of the number of doses I have left, so I can count on my asthma medication when I need it the most. Keep your own count. Visit knowyourcount.com to learn more.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Welcome back into Northeast Current on the ION Network, and good morning. My name is Holly Golembeski, and today we are talking with Amy Gale. She's a local author who wrote an amazing book called Blissful Tragedy. And on the break, we were talking about the different events that you've done and the different tours that you've been doing with your book in your spare time, which isn't much. So you're always on the go. Tell us about the different events that you've done.
So far, I have done an art walk in Pittston. It was the second Friday art walk, which was wonderful. I got to meet a lot of local artists and a lot of people in the local community. I've also done 2 signings at Barnes & Noble's book retailers. I've also done a pet walk for a local pet charity called Tracy's Hope. And
I know that you like animals.
I love
A
animals.
lot. And what is Tracy's Hope?
Tracy's Hope helps animals that are abused or neglected, and it also has a hospice program for animals who are ready to pass and to help the owners through that. They also help with justice for different animals, and they go to court cases and they take animals that are being taken away from their owners due to abuse and neglect while they're in the legal system, and help them find homes when they have the chance to do so.
Well, you have, I don't want to say a zoo, but you have 7 animals.
I have 7 animals.
All right. What are their names?
I have 6 cats and a golden retriever. Golden retriever's name is Sadie. We have 6 cats, 3 ragdoll cats. We have Jasper, Chloe, and Daisy. 2 cats that happened to find me, and we just let them in, Stripes and Bluebell, and a Persian kitty that I just got from a rescue, and her name's Tabitha.
And we were talking about Grumpy Cat. And I think I'm the only person in the world that doesn't know who Grumpy Cat is. But I did as soon as you started telling me what Grumpy Cat actually does. So I heard that your book and Grumpy Cat had an interaction.
They did. My publicist, Sarah, took my book to BEA in New York, because unfortunately I was working the day job and couldn't go. And Grumpy Cat happened to be there, so Blissful Tragedy has a picture with a Grumpy Cat.
Now, where could we find that? And I saw it this morning, actually, your website.
We could find that on my website and my Facebook fan page, and I'm sure I put it on Twitter also, because I was so excited when Grumpy Cat's with my book.
I know. That's really cool. That's really great. And Grumpy Cat, now that I realize who he is. Very cute, and what an opportunity. That must have made you feel really good, and I bet you didn't expect that.
I didn't expect that, but I do so much for animal charities. To have a celebrity cat with my book was very important and exciting for me.
Sure it is. And you said you have a fan base in the UK.
I do. I was surprised that I would have an international fan base, but I met a lot of wonderful bloggers in the UK, and I also have some fans in the UK. I met some authors from the UK, which is really cool. I hope to get there someday.
I was going to ask, is that something that you would love to do, like go over there, do a book signing, meet people that have read and follow you? And
I would definitely love to do that someday.
I think that would be a great experience too. Now, when you were writing Blissful Tragedy, where did you write? Is there a specific room in your house, or, like I'm one of those people that before I go to bed at night, I have the best ideas in the world, but then I forget them when I wake up the next morning. So if I don't have like a piece of paper and a pen, it's not going to happen. So where did you write your book?
It's funny you should say that, because I wrote basically the whole book in the evening. And I actually started out just jotting things down in a notebook, the old-fashioned pen and paper. And basically I had the whole book written in a spiral notebook. And then I typed it, and when I typed it, I did a little bit of minor editing, because at this point I was just doing it for fun. And I started out on my couch, and then I went into my sunroom by the fireplace, especially when it got cold in the winter. So I started in September, and I ended up finishing it in November. So there were a lot of cooler nights I threw on the fireplace and just hung out on the couch with a cup of cocoa and just started writing.
Well, we're actually on location at Amy's house. She was nice enough to let us tape up here, and it's absolutely beautiful. I would be inspired just by living up here. Plus the quiet's always a good thing. Is there a specific room? I mean, did you have to be alone? Was your husband around? I know your animals were, but were you all by yourself when you were writing?
I definitely have to be alone when I'm writing. I cannot write with other people in the room. I do not know why. But a lot of it I did when my husband was at work. And he does a lot of hunting and fishing, especially in the fall. So he was gone a lot for that. But when he's in the room, I can't focus on the book. I feel like we need to spend time with each other.
Sure.
So,
yeah,
I need to be alone to write. The animals, they don't bother me so much. Sometimes my little editors come and try to press the keys on the laptop, but other than that, we're good.
Well, how long did it take you to write in that spiral notebook?
It took me about 3 months in the spiral notebook. And after those 3 months, it took me about a year to edit it.
Wow. To type it out and to edit it at the same time? Or did you edit it before you typed it out? How was that process?
I typed it and edited it, very minor adjustments, but I mean, to really edit it enough to submit it for publication took me a good year, because as I said, it wasn't my original intention. So I really had to go back through everything and re-edit. I cut the first 2 chapters at one point. There was a lot of editing needed to be done, because I really wasn't sure what I was doing at that point.
And you said that your intention was not to get this published. Your friends read it and said that it was good, and they wanted you to, look into that. So the process, if I even said to you, Amy, I wrote a book, I want to get it published, what do I do?
Well, the first thing I did, I was lucky that my coworker's sister-in-law is a published author with Harlequin. So I wrote her an email. She gave me some great advice. She told me to join the Romance Writers of America, since I'm a romance writer. So I joined them. I joined the local Lehigh Pocono chapter. And basically, when I joined the National Romance Writers of America, I found out they have a lot of contests on their websites. So the different chapters have the contests as fundraisers for their chapter. So what I did was I submitted whatever they ask for, whether it's the first chapter, the first 25 pages, first 30 pages, in whatever format they ask for it. I submitted it, and they basically give you a critique to tell you what's wrong with it, what's right with it. And then, of course, if you win, you can get in front of an editor or an agent. Well, I wasn't doing so well in the contests, but it was a great learning process, because it told me exactly what I needed to fix. And when I knew what I needed to fix and I knew what I needed to change, then when I did it, it was very polished and ready to submit.
And you said that first step is to submit a paragraph trying to pitch and sell your book.
What you do is, it's called a query letter. It's actually 3 paragraphs. Basically, your first paragraph is introducing your book to the agent or editor. The second paragraph is just pitching your book on why they're going to want to read it. And the third paragraph is more about you. And based on those 3 paragraphs, They will decide whether they think your book is good enough for publication with them or if they want to represent it. So you basically, it's like an advertising pitch. You have to pitch your book.
Now, did you get a letter in the mail telling you that they accepted? Was it an email that said that they were going to publish? How did you find out?
It's all through email. And I sent my query letter, and then I got an email back that said I'd like to see more. So they asked for the first 10 pages. They wanted to see my writing style and a synopsis. And a synopsis is basically your whole book in 3 to 5 pages, very hard to condense. And they want everything about your book, beginning, middle, end, everything. So I submitted that next, and 2 weeks later they asked for the full manuscript. So I sent that out, and then waiting was the hardest part. And they offered me a contract, and when I got the contract I had my lawyer check it out, and we accepted it.
How long did it take to get that final letter from the beginning of the process?
Probably a good month. It takes at least that long, and my publisher is 5 Prints Publishing out of Denver, Colorado. And like I said, I'm not a very patient person, so waiting was very difficult for me, but it's a slow process.
What was that feeling that you had when you got that final email saying, we're going to publish your book?
I can't even describe the feeling. I was so excited. I was, of course, at work, and I always check my email on my iPhone, and when I saw it, I just went, oh! And everybody was looking at me in the pharmacy. They're like, what happened? What's going on? Because I really hadn't even told them I submitted it, because I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, and I didn't want to let everyone know and let everyone down if I couldn't get it published, because I know how hard it is to get published. And when that happened, they were all very supportive and excited.
When did you get that email? Like, what month was it?
It was October.
Okay, and this published in February?
This published in February, yeah.
Okay.
So the small publishers have a pretty good turnaround. The larger ones, you might wait a year to a year and a half till you actually see your book, and the smaller ones do it a little bit quicker.
And we were talking about your website. And what is your website?
It's authoramygale.com.
Okay, and you said you do a lot of contests and interaction with your readers.
Yes, I love contests. I'm a contest junkie. I am the person at the bridal shower that loves playing the games. But I love having contests, and I try to have at least 1 or 2 every month. And it's basically for my fans, and you might have to do little things like my Facebook page. There might be something that says, tell me your experience about this or that. I did one chocolate covered for Valentine's Day, chocolate covered fun, and I said the craziest thing you've ever had covered in chocolate. And I got some interesting answers.
What were some of the answers?
A pickle.
Oh, jeez.
Bacon.
I've heard of the bacon covered, the chocolate covered bacon.
Yeah, pickle I've never had in chocolate.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had grasshoppers and crickets in chocolate.
Oh, that's protein right there.
I guess so. That's protein right there. But I love to have contests, and they're fun. Fun way to do things. I give out swag, e-book, print books, fun stuff.
And you are working on another book.
I am. I am in the editing process of my second book called Wrecked. And I'm hoping that'll be ready to start submitting the end of July.
And what is Wrecked about?
Wrecked is about a queen bee cheerleader in a community college. I was homecoming queen in high school, top of the world, has everything she could possibly want, except she wants to get into this culinary school, which is almost impossible to get into, and there's 5 scholarships that are going out, so she wants to get one of them. And she's pretty well off. Her father's a lawyer, her mom's the local florist that does everything for the weddings, so she's got a pretty good foundation, but she didn't do so well in school, so now she's trying to get into this culinary school. And one thing that she can check off her list is her driving record, which is pretty bad. So she ends up going to traffic school to get that expunged because her lawyer dad made a plea deal. And she meets this bad boy in traffic school, Chase Cooper. And he is the hot bad boy that everybody wants, but she certainly doesn't need any more trouble. And she's already dating the captain of the football team. So she can't hinder her attraction to this guy who happens to be her partner at traffic school, but she's trying her best to avoid him. But the battle's getting harder every day. And then tragedy strikes and her parents get killed in a car accident.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so now she goes into a downward spiral of depression and drinking because everything good in her life's been taken away. Her friends left her, her boyfriend left her, and the only one who seems to still be around is this bad boy, Chase Cooper. So it goes from there.
And I'm sure there's going to be a happy ending there. As
it's a romance novel. There's got to be.
Well, what makes your writing unique and different? If you had to separate it from somebody else?
I think every author is a little bit different than everybody else. There's always music involved in my books. I like my heroes to be edgy bad boys, and I like my heroines to be independent, where they don't really need a man, but sometimes you really want one, and it's great to have them around. So I like my heroines to be strong and independent, even when they're at their lowest. And I like my heroes to be sexy bad boys.
A lot of us like those sexy bad boys,
Sure we
don't
do.
we? Well, who's your favorite author? Who do you enjoy reading? And is it a romance author?
It's funny you say that. I love Stephen King. He's not a romance author,
No.
but I love him. I think he's extremely creative. Romance authors, I love E.L. James with the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy. I like Jamie Maguire. She wrote Beautiful Disaster. So a lot of new adult authors, but I really do like horror as well.
So what's the timeline on Wrecked? When will that be in publication again?
Well, I'm going to start submitting it at the end of July. I'm going to say probably not until 2015. I'm not exactly sure the publisher's timeline at this point, but it does take quite a bit of time and work, and I'm going to say probably definitely 2015, but I can't wait to share it with everyone.
And are you going to continue writing?
Yes, I'm also just about to start, and no one knows this yet, I'm just about to start a second book based on a different character in Blissful Tragedy.
Oh, wow.
So not so much a sequel, but a second book based on the character, so it's going to have a lot of the same characters in it. So a lot of people who love Blissful Tragedy will see their favorite characters again in this next book that I'm just about to start.
And where could people find your book to buy it?
Anywhere online, all the major retailers online, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, iTunes, Kobo, and it's also at the Barnes & Nobles in Wilkes-Barre, the actual brick-and-mortar store. You can pick it up there, or you can order it from any Barnes & Noble store.
And it's available on Kindle and Nook?
Available for Kindle, Nook.
And what is your website?
My website is authoramygale.com.
And your Facebook is Amy L. Gale.
My Facebook, Twitter, all the links to buy are all on my website, so you can just click on the little Facebook icon, the Twitter icon, and you'll come right to me.
That makes it a lot easier, too.
It does, because the Facebook has a whole bunch of numbers and whatnots after my name.
Okay. It does, yeah, because is Amy Gale a popular name?
It is.
Yeah?
I didn't really realize that, and it is my actual real name.
Right.
I don't write under a pen name.
Right.
So, yeah, a lot of Amy Gales out there.
Well, thank you for spending some time with us and having us here at your beautiful home. We look forward to Wrecked and to the second Blissful Tragedy character book that you are going to be writing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Once again, we'd like to thank local author Amy Gale for having us here at her home. She's local, but she's national and international. Remember that UK fan base. When she comes out with the book Wrecked, we'll be here to talk to her again. You've been watching Northeast Current on the ION Network. My name is Holly Golembeski. We'll see you next week.